Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to try to solve like the years of problem of like every cyber player, especially those who are F2P. So is it really possible for F2P to rank in events? And if so, how long or how is it possible for it to rank? So I hope this does not sound like a flex, but throughout my F2, well, I'm more of like a very, very light spender. So the most that I spent is like 100 coins or like 200 coins. Like the biggest set that I have spent so far is like the birthday gift, but that is the birthday set, but that is like rounds of accumulating top joy and watching videos, etc. So yeah, my total expenditure there was like around $5. It was like that's just once. So I'd still consider myself as a light spender to F2P that range. So just to give like a big disclaimer only, just so that we can draw the line. Okay. And then right now what you're seeing is my room in Ikevamp Taiwan server. So I play the Taiwan server more than the EN server because I am so disappointed with their lucky time at like a lot of times. So yeah, I try to be more active on like both servers because one has more advantage than the other, such as more top joy offers, while Taiwan server has a lot of freebies. So in a way, it like cancels each other, in my opinion. But yeah, going back to the topic, I'd say as an F2P, it's really, really, really doable to rank. Like if you've seen here, my chibi here, this is from CE completion, and then if you usually see this posing avatar item, usually it's ranking or early bird clear price. So yeah, this one I got it from the Valentine's event in Taiwan server, which I don't think we have it in AN, but yeah, I was able to rank this, and anniversary I was also able to rank. But it's all about studying the whole event in general and the game. So another proof I have is my Ikemen Taiwan server. So my Ikemen Taiwan, I was able to reach like at least top 10, top 20 with only 100 coins. So this one don't just yeah, I only bought like 100 coins from time to time. So yeah, overall I don't really spend so big. I can't show you my stash because I've like recently splurged all my stash on those events. So yeah, it wouldn't be like as accurate if I just say like, oh, my stash is like this amount. But I can like estimate the amount of items that I have burned using a few math. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's get started. I'll say it's really, really doable, but you need to do this 5 simple steps, and at the same time doing your dailies and etc. to like accumulate all the items. Okay, so first I'll tell you on like how to rank for a story event and before doing the collection event, and then after that will be the other types of events like anniversary or like special election stuff like the one in Ikemen Sengoku. We're going to have a random election event for no reason. I don't know why until now, but yeah. Okay, so since Ikemen Taiwan doesn't have an event, I'll use my Ikerevo as an example. So as you've seen in the price list, okay, first tip is always check your final price, not the ranking, the final price in like the whole prices. So like for example, it's ending clear or this one, the personal charm, personal glam price. So for example, this one is 65,000 and you want to complete all the ends because example you're a race stand and then you want 8 ends clear. More or less, you have to see the pattern in groups. So if you've joined some FB groups, they always have those posts on like how much is the checkpoint, looking for vet friends. So you can just go there and ask people, yeah, and just look at the comments or look at the numbers. So I'm going to safely assume that one ending is around 7,500 points. So more or less, you can just estimate by multiplying 7.5 times 8 and then a little bit of adjustment. So yeah, more or less, you can say that it's around 50 to 60k. Yeah, more or less 60k, and then bump it up a little bit like 5k because you want the completion price. So yeah, so you have to calculate how many points can you get per item. So for example, in Ikerevo, you have the T. So more or less one T set is 5 rounds, and 5 rounds can give you around 950. Then you add up on the secret duel, that gives you extra 100, 200. So more or less you can estimate it to around 1,000, meaning you need 65, around 65 to 70 T set in order for you to get all the prizes. This does not include ranking price again, and at the same time, this is assuming that you're doing it on a lucky time, double lucky time, and you're not losing. Like you don't have a loss, because if you have a loss, it will turn from 75 to 50 for a round, assuming that's not a lucky time if you get the time in. So yeah, basically you earn less points if you lose. So assuming that you win every single round, then yeah, you can safely assume that you need 70 TNC for like example this event. Okay, another example would be yeah, let's go back to my Ikemen Taiwan again. A good example would be this chibi. So for example, this chibi is like the last prize, which costs like 140k glam if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you have like the initial lucky time. Usually they give initial lucky time of ×2, sometimes ×3 if it's an extra big event. So I'll give a better example later because right now the current time I'm recording the video doesn't have much like good events or any event that I'm joining, so I can't really provide a good example. But anyway, I'll try to do it from memory. So usually if you're only after the price and not the early bird, you can delay. Yeah, you can delay a bit of your spending of stash. So for example, this chibi is like permanent, you reach until 140k glam. So that means like throughout the event, you can just build slowly until the final lucky time, which is usually a triple lucky time. Then you burn all your stash there. But what if you're after both the prices and the early clear prices? So that one is a little bit of a problem because first of all, the early clear prices coincides usually with the lucky time times 2 and not times 3. So in that case, your stash could like go up and down on like how much you can burn, right? So there are two ways to do this. Is either you estimate half of your stash. So for example, for this event, I save up around 80 like total, including my parfaits, cakes, the small stamina items, pallets and everything. So that one I estimated that I could get 80,000 personal glam without doing daily stages. Like if I just burn all my stash on day 1 on a lucky time double. Yeah, more or less I estimated that one. So what I did, I cut my stash into half. So that would give me around 40k. And then you try to like estimate on like how many days are there in the event. So example, it's a 1 week event. Then yeah, you could just like multiply it. So more or less you would get around 20k throughout the whole event plus 40k. So you get 60k. So 60k, you try to estimate. Okay, you try to estimate through the early clear bird. Okay. And then you can check that more or less. Oh, that two premiums early bird just needs 30k. You have enough to solo through it. Okay. So story events can be a little bit tricky because there are those types of players that just wants literally one prize and after just dumps the event and go AFK. That's why I always suggest to people in FP groups to try to carry yourself to at least 2 endings before like asking help from anyone. Okay. Unless you're really that type of player who only aims for like one prize, then yeah, try to beg for someone who you know personally or like who you know is willing to carry you on that one. Yeah, because like you have to understand that the people who are carrying you are also spending their real money. So if it's like indirectly forcing them to spend more in a sense, so yeah, try to not be a burden during story event. Even though if you're after one prize only, try to play throughout to complete. Like you'll never know, you reach the other prizes, right? So yeah. As for collection event, it's also similar, but you have to make sure how much stash you have. So for example, in IkePrince, I'm still trying to like wrap my head on how the hell do you get the early bird because it looks so expensive. I swear. So let's just assume that this is like, yeah, let's just assume that you have stash, but you're not sure which if you should go for it or not. So first, I would look at the early clear first if it's worth it. So example, this is just a card, and this is just a hair, just a hair. Wow. Okay. Usually if the card is in the price list, I would not go for it because one, newer cards will come and they will have better CG sooner or later. So in a sense, you'll get like power creep or like CG art creep in a sense. So yeah, I wouldn't go for this early bird unless you can afford it, of course. Unless you can afford it or unless you really, really, really want it, okay? So assuming you really, really, really want it, how much tickets do you need to burn? So that also relies on the lucky time because in English server, for IkePrince, they never release a triple lucky time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so far I do not see a triple lucky time based on all the events that I have joined so far. So yeah, which brings me to my second point in a sense. Actually, I'm like mixing a little bit of all the tips in a sense. Try to plan your lucky time schedule in a calendar. Like even just writing down on a physical calendar or writing it in your phone calendar or trying to write it in a separate piece of paper and then setting alarm on your phone. It depends on what's your style of doing it. But usually what I do is I write it in a piece of paper and then stick it beside my calendar just to see on which event like has the lucky time and all. Because if you're the type of player who plays all of Cyber's games or a lot of games, then you can't keep track of all the events. Then yeah, that's the time alarm can help you a lot, especially if you're like after so many event prices in like a week. Because yeah, events can overlap. You can't you can't manage everything like unless you have like good memory. So yeah, try to plot. Okay, so example, your sleeping time is around midnight, and then the lucky time comes like 11 p.m. and you have to know when the ticket resets. So for example, in Ikevamp, in my time, the ticket reset is 8 p.m. and then the lucky time comes at 6 p.m. So you have to time it properly such that when you read the ticket, it lands right on the lucky time, right? So going back to that example, for example, the lucky time starts at 6 p.m. Your ticket time resets at 8 p.m. So that means you try to control you try your best to control not reading the stories and wait until 6 p.m. Then at 6 p.m. you read the story, no matter whose route is that. You read the main route, and then you wait until 8 p.m. again for your ticket reset. Then you read further before you go to sleep at midnight. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. If there is like that chance where I could like rank an event, then I could like create a better video example of it. But yeah, for now, let's just assume this stuff. Okay. Next, similarly to the story event, you have to plan on your triple lucky times as well because like, for example, in Ikemen Vampire in Taiwan server, I don't know if this applies to EN yet. So far, I haven't seen it. But in Taiwan server, they usually start at lucky time times 3. Triple lucky time story times 3. So you have to plan properly on like which price you're going for and which event you're after. Because for sure, like example, like right now it's November, you're pretty sure like in a month it's gonna be like a Christmas themed story event or collection event. So you have to time that right as well. And then also the fact that there's going to be new road coming and that's your bay and all. So yeah, you have to think of those factors as well. Especially if you're like F2P and you're not super active every day in playing. So yeah, that could actually impact your planning route. So yeah, do join events wisely. If you're not planning to join an event, just chill, like just chill out on the event only. Don't really care about the prices except like it has good items, then yeah, just go for it and don't burn your stash if that's the case. Okay. Next is of course the diamond system or coin system, those bullshit stuff. Okay, so I see a lot of people asking like, where do I spend my diamonds on? Is it worth to buy the set and everything? In general, I would say no, don't buy any single set except the Lucky Time set. Why? Because if you count, like literally just try to count all of the points that you can stack in that set, then divide it by the diamonds. So in a sense, you will end up with something like a points per diamond. Then you can see if it is worth or not. So yeah, usually I don't. I rarely buy the Lucky Time set because like my stash is like fat af. Back in the day, my stash was fat af. Now I'm like poor stash af. Okay. I'm not sure if there's an example here because there's not much event. Okay. So right now in Ikemen Vampire, it has a story event, and then you want to see like how much does it cost. Like some of them requires paid diamonds, others like that. So for example, the moment that you see an avatar item, a chibi, or a card in the set, don't buy it. Immediately don't buy it. I don't care if that's your bay or, but I'm thirsty for the letters. No, don't buy it. It's not worth it. It's like you're paying 1,000 diamonds for a chibi, where if you look at the shop, they have a 900 diamond there for a set of dress that has higher beauty level than a chibi at like a cheaper price. So like that's one of the like flags you need to look for just to check the value of the gems, okay? There's no lucky time set because there's no lucky time at the moment, so I can't show you. So yeah, anyway, usually yeah, the lucky time set is a good deal. Or for story sets, if you really want a thirsty set, a story set because you're thirsty af, then yeah, by all means you can buy if you want. Just don't buy the 9,800 diamond set. For me, it's not that worth for an F2P. But if you're someone who spends a lot and all, and you're thirsty for that guy, no matter how, then yeah, by all means do it. But I'm just saying that it's not that worth. If you're after stashing items, then don't do it. Okay, Cyber tends to change a lot of shit into like limited stuff. So if you're the type if you want that strategy to just buy lucky sets just to stash, be careful. Like read the description first, because before you can do that, especially in collection events where you buy the lucky time set and then you get a lot of tickets, and then after that you stash it so many times. So every collection event you buy the lucky time set to stash. That is a very good strategy. But lately Cyber changed that one into limited items, which is really bullshit. So yeah, be careful of that one. Like read the item description first before you buy. Okay. Yeah, because like I think it applies to all games already, that every time when you buy a T set, the one that gives you full stamina, that lucky time set, it turned into limited time only, meaning after the event it expires. So yeah, I'm not sure if it applies to all the games already, but yeah, that one's really bullshit. So like be careful when you're buying that set, unless if you're going all out for that event, then go ahead. Okay, next is the upcoming election event. So this one is like one of the most brutal events ever. Like even as an F2P, I tried ranking for Ikerevo Taiwan server, knowing that Taiwan server has less people than EN. It's hell fucking to rank. Like don't get me started. But yeah, it is doable to rank. For example, you reach all of the prizes. So back to Ikerevo, the example was the final prize is at 65,000 personal points to get all of the prizes. So that's also assuming you completed the event as well, right? So you would check, like for example, the prizes. You want to rank for the prizes because like, oh wow, the guy avatar looks so good. Oh, what's next? Top 200. So is it really possible for an F2P to rank at top 100? I'd say yes, depending on the season of the event. Okay, right now it's like Halloween-ish events right now, or like nearing ending of Halloween events. So usually they'll put like something normal, something not so holiday themed. So those types of events, the regular, I call it regular events, I would say it's doable, because like you're not the only one who's planning shit for your own stash and room. Come on. Like, you know that Christmas is around the corner. So most likely everyone's going to plan shit for their Christmas, right? So if you think that the price is really good, then by all means you can rank. Okay, let's check who has 65,000. Holy shit. Wait, top 100. Okay, so top 100 more or less has 20,000 love points. Yeah, love glam. So that means if you try to finish the event, you're most likely instantly going to jump all the way until somewhere here, I would say. No, I would say somewhere Oh wow, people are lazy in this event. Okay, let's find a more brutal, brutal. Yeah, let's find a more brutal event because right now in Ikerevo it's not that rank, like it's a rerun event. So rerun event people tend to rank less, which gives you an open opportunity for you to rank. But every rerun event made by Cybert always makes it worse because not only like they force you, they indirectly force you to join the event because they have like a little bit of extra goodies there. So yeah, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's meh, really a meh. But yeah, as much as possible, don't try to join rerun events to rank, okay? It's a good opportunity if you're a newbie player, but if you're an old player, don't. Like, if you missed the ranking in the old one, and then you want to rank in the new one, it's optional, but I would say don't. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, damn, two daddies. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so for example, this story event in Ikevamp, there are cards, okay? So as I said, again, don't rank for cards, please. It's not that worth it. But anyway, assuming that you want the card so bad and you want the avatar item so bad as well, so let's go for top 200. What's the difference? Yeah, extra card. Yeah. Okay, let's try. Let's say that you're a simp for Leonardo. Okay, you want top 100. Okay, even though you don't fucking care that I don't rank for cards. I don't give a shit. Let's go rank for cards. Okay, top 100. Let's look at the ranking. Okay, so top 100 is around 44. No, around 35,000 points. Okay, remember that this is not the end of the event, so don't jump to conclusions that it's easy to rank because it's just at like very low points I can handle it. No, you have to check all the way until the last day of the event, especially at the last hour, because especially EN server, they tend to do last minute ranking. Like literally on the last day, 30 minutes before event ends, they're going to try to climb their way to the rank. So be extra careful on that. Get some extra stash if you can. Like, don't just blow it off if you're going to rank. So for example, you already finished your story event, okay, and then you want to concentrate on ranking because you're a simp for someone. Like for example, in this case, you're a simp for Leonardo, and then you want to rank so bad. Don't blow all your stash after you finish the story event. Why? Because it's not yet the end of the event. Okay, there's usually triple lucky time in EN at the last one, so that's where everybody literally burn their stash so great, to the point that every 10 minutes the rank could change very drastically. Okay, so what I would do is check every hour instead of every 10 minutes. Less anxiety, the better. Okay, so for example, your ranking is at 36k. It's like, wow, it's so easy to rank, and then you check at EN at the last one. Wow, the top 100, the limit is now 50k, but you're at 65k. It's okay. Okay, it's still okay. No, don't assume that, because there's a high chance some whale will just rise from the bottom, just eat your ranks up. This happened to a lot of people, including me, trying to rank. So for example, I was so chill, having that mindset that, it's easy to rank because not a lot of people simp for this one. No, it's wrong. I tried ranking for top 100. I ended up kicking down to 120 plus because I ignored that advice to my future self. Yeah. So yeah, keep a lookout on that one, especially during election. Why? Because that's where people try to play smart. That's where people post guides to each other. Like, hey, if you're trying to vote for this, make sure you're black. So as early as now, I'm already giving guides to like future event, annual event bullshits. So yeah. Voting event. This is like the hardest to rank because there are those type of people that only rank during anniversary. I used to be one of those people, but the anniversary events just gets harder and harder. So I opt to not do that. So similarly to events like this, you try to look at your opponents. Okay. One strategy, which is technically is morally wrong, but for the sake of ranking is the correct strategy, is to change your whole room. So for example, you're ranking for Leonardo, change your whole room into Sebas. Literally disguise yourself as a Sebas stan. Try to throw like 10 votes just to get a prize for Sebas. And then after that, wait until the last few hours of the early bird, then throw your stash to Leonardo. That's how you partially rank. This is so that people won't immediately judge you. Like, oh my gosh, this one, she's known to have great stash. She's going to eat me. So they will tend to like try to outrank you to a bigger margin, which is, yeah. But yeah, this is like one of the sneaky strats I see people do. Even I do it sometimes. Sometimes only. It's technically morally wrong, but it depends on how you see on it. If you want the prices that badly, and yeah, this is a good strategy. And then afterwards, if you're ranking for Leonardo example, and then you want to stay at top 10 because there is merch prizes. Yeah, usually they give merch prizes at anniversary, but it could change every year, so don't take my word fully on it, okay? So example, you want to merch reward at top 10. So is it possible for F2P to do this? This is very, 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 very hard for F2P to do it. It is doable, but at a cost of like a lot of stashing. So if I were you, I would not go after the merch. It's way too expensive. Like, it costs so much sacrifice, okay? So, but anyway, let's assume like we're in a new server where there's very, very few people. So ideally, it should be doable for you to rank the top 10. But you're against a lot of whales because they also want the merch as well. Duh. So what I do is I check the people at the overall rank. I don't have an example here because there's no anniversary event right now. So yeah, what I do is I check the overall ranking. So for example, I'm this one. I'm this 88 person. And then this is, imagine this is top 10. So I'm at number 8. Wow, that's so cool. I'm at number 8. And you see the person above me under Leonardo rankings, okay? You check the Leonardo rankings. You're number 8, she's number 7. Now, how to know if she is an F2P or a whale or someone who's like just waiting for the right time to blow everything? You go to the overall rankings and look for her name. Okay, if she falls, usually if you're top 10 of a stan ranking. So for example, who's a famous ranker in cyber community? Emma or Tammy, one of them. I don't know if they changed their name, but yeah, you know that Emma is a Leonardo stan, for example. Okay, you know that Emma is a Leonardo stan, but you don't know if she's a whale or not. Okay, you look at her. Oh, she's top 1 in Napoleon, or I mean in Leonardo, and she threw in like 1,000 ballots. Okay, you look at the overall ranking if she throw 1,000 ballots or not. That's where you know that more or less you can guess if she's a whale or not. But if she threw like 12,000 in total and only threw in 1,000 for Leonardo so far, that means she's secured to rank more or less. Why? Because there's that chance at the last part of the lucky time, she's gonna throw everything to Leonardo, going to make her spot secure top 5 or top 1. Okay? But if Emma is not in top 100, or like example, she's like bottom half of top 100, then more or less you may have a chance. Okay? So try to watch the rankings as closely as possible, especially if you have like quite a lot of free time and not the type of person who works like 8-hour shift and all like that. I hope this makes sense. I'm not going to rank in any anniversary unless if I have hella good stash. Okay? So yeah, I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain because like anything can happen. Because there are some stories that I see that, oh, I've been stashing for 2 years for anniversary. This is my chance to shine. There are those types of people who do that, which is like an extra wild card in the ranking. So yeah, do be careful of that one. Those types of players, they're like the hella smart players who will literally do the math. Okay. Next is the dilemma. The worst dilemma of all is, what if your blank stand and that guy or that suitor is like the top 1. So example, in Ikemen, Nobunaga has always been the top. Either Nobunaga or Mitsuhide or Kenshin. Those 3 are always fighting their asses on like top 1 suitor. Okay? So this brings out a hella big disadvantage for F2P because they're the most popular boys, right? So very, very high chance that they're going to come in almost every single event. So is it possible to like chase the prices for that? It is doable for an F2P, but very, very hard. Like you have to stash harder than ever compared to like if you're a Sebastian stan or like a Kenyo stan. Yeah, the difference of stashing effort is really, really huge. So like yeah, do be very, very selective on the events that you want to rank. If you want to rank for anniversary and you're a Nobunaga stan, it is really, really impossible unless you have never ever ranked in an event. That's how hard it is for F2P to rank if you're a Nobunaga stan. So yeah, kind of disappointing, but yeah, if that's the case, like example, you're a Nobunaga stan and you want to rank for Nobunaga, don't go for his birthday, don't go for his anniversary. Yeah, something that is very competitive event. Don't try to rank there. It's really, really hard. Okay. I hope this makes total sense. If not, you can always comment down below your questions. I'll try my best to answer them. Okay. Right, while I was editing, I forgot to mention this one. So if in case that you're after a collection event, how do you prepare for it? Because in collection event, personally, I feel like it's easier to rank because you can pre-prep with this. This is one tip that a lot of people forgot to do. Okay, so for example, you want a collection event that you want to rank. This could be anything. Okay, this only applies for Ikemen Vampire, Ikemen Revolution, and IkePrince. Okay, so the changing system is actually Midsin, but Midsin doesn't have event anymore. So yeah, scratch that. Only 3 games. But anyways, the changing route system for these 3 games is basically if you change a route, it saves your progress, which is a very, very huge pog. Okay, so what I would do is you look at the progress of your story route. Okay, you look at the progress of your story route. So for example, I'm at Arthur's route and I'm at chapter 12, which is a very good timing. So what I would do, I would read chapter 12 all the way until the checkpoint, but I will stop at the checkpoint. Okay, I'll stop at the checkpoint. Next, so assuming it's the next day where my ticket resets, I will switch route to the next guy, which is Vincent. Okay, I'll switch route to Vincent. Vincent, I'm at chapter 24. Okay, what is chapter 24? I forgot. I think it's a checkpoint. Yeah. So for example, like this, I'll stop at checkpoint. If there's no collection event, be chill. Don't pass the challenges. Okay. So since I'm already at the checkpoint for Vincent, I go to the next route. Next route is wait, who have I not completed? No, I use Rebel for example. My vamp is extra prepared already. So yeah. Anyways, going back, let's just assume that I'm going to change route again to Kyle. Okay, so since Kyle isn't in the since the progress of my Kyle's route is not in the checkpoint yet, I can still read. So like burn around 2 days and stop at the checkpoint again. Okay, but what if you're at a situation, just keep doing that for every single guy until all of them reaches a checkpoint, just like my IkeVamp. So just to show like a fast example, if only they could like make this faster. Anyways, like a chapter 2, 4, yeah, these are checkpoint, this is checkpoint. Yeah, just stop there. So what if like my previous example, I'm at chapter 24. Should I proceed here or not? I would say no. I would say no. Until the collection event is out that you wanted to rank for or want to get the prizes for, then you start from the one at chapter 24. Because usually the first lucky time is story lucky time, right? So you read this, you finish the checkpoint, and then you read this one, burn like 10 tickets because you read this, and then you read this, and then you'll get 5 tickets with your 300 gems, and you get completion hearts. You get completion hearts or collection event points, which is like times 2. It works times 2. Okay? And then you switch route to the rest of the guys who has checkpoint. So what if you want to stop burning tickets because you want to like take a break for a while? Like you don't want to burn tickets because you're waiting for the final lucky time. So what you can do is you change. Remember what I said about stopping at each checkpoint? You change route to different guy. Okay? You change route to different guy at the checkpoint chapter. So at lucky time times 3, you finish every guy's checkpoint, and then you get lots and lots of hearts. This will almost instantly, guaranteed you to finish the first early bird. This will instantly secure your first early bird. Easy peasy. So yeah, that's why you have to pre-prep. And then at the same time, the most optimized solution would be everybody will be at chapter 24. You finish chapter 24, you burn half of the stash, more or less half of the stash. For example, you burn like around 35 tickets because it's 7 guys that have chapter 24, and then you get like 5 tickets after. So the net total would be like half of the tickets that you've burned. Boom. And you get diamonds as well. So if you want to buy the lucky time set, then extra stonks. Yeah, this method, if you put it all at chapter 24, this will guarantee you to get at least 400 hearts, if not around 350. Last time I did it in Ikemen Revo, it catapulted me until 420, I think, or 440. Yeah, but it made me complete all of the early bird prizes. So be extra careful in using this strategy, because the moment you pass the checkpoint, you have to read through the whole route again and then stop at the checkpoint. So each of these preparations is like 2 days, more or less 2 to 3 days, and then you multiply it 2 per guy. So for example, in IkePrince, there's only like 4 guys so far. So this will give you obviously less hearts because there's only 4 routes. And like compared to Ikemen Vampire, Ikemen Revolution, this can like catapult you more than 200 hearts guaranteed. So yeah, that's an extra huge tip for a collection event. Okay, so now the biggest question is how much stash do I need to burn? Okay, so back in my day, during the time that I ranked for Yukimura in Ikemen Taiwan, I reached rank 8 by burning almost 120,000 worth of personal glam points. So that totals up to like more or less the pallets that can give me around 40,000, and then the parfait, all the stamina items total up to 40,000. And then there's also the ones that they give you the free stamina item a bit, like those shave eyes and all along the way during the whole story event. So yeah, and then daily playing and then watching the lucky time and all that give me more or less around 40,000 throughout the whole event. So yeah, that's how I totaled it up to almost, I think, approximately 140 to 160,000. It costed me one early bird price, because that early bird price at the time was reach 80,000 personal glam. It's like, what the fuck. So I gave up that one because I wanted to get the permanent, the event, the non early bird price. So yeah, I weigh one over the other, and I chose the 140,000 glam chibi. Holy shit. Yeah, that's one example. So more or less try to stash around 40,000 glam worth of items at least. Okay, this will like catapult you to finish the story event. And then ranking there's a separate calculation, because for example, you're trying to go after Nobunaga and you have 140,000 p glam stash. This will not guarantee you to rank, because Nobunaga's a famous guy. There's a lot of Nobunaga simps, and if you know in the community like who is distance whale, who is distance kraken. So for example, everyone knows who Emma is because she's always at the top 10. More or less you guess like, I think Emma is a Nobunaga stan. Then yeah, you're kind of fucked. Don't try to top 10 it already. Okay? Because I've seen like what JP server reach like what 3 million personal glam. No fucking way an F2P can reach that high. Okay? My highest was like 180,000. So yeah, if I can reach like 180,000 2 years, what more 3 million? I can't reach that. That's one example. Okay? For collection event, I would say stash around 70 to 90 tickets. And then the T set or stamina set, don't try to use them as much as possible because you can save them for story events. So like right now I have 82 stash. I can totally rank at least top 200 on any story event, but I'm still waiting for the proper story event that I can burn on. So yeah, 82 stash, like stash for like what, 2 years I think. Yeah, because Cyber's kind of stingy on like freebie items, so you have to like work your way. Yeah. Okay. Ticket. Ticket's kind of hard to say because there are like a lot of factors why a collection event is released. Like one of the example could be a new suitor route is out, so you want to like burn your tickets for him. So you have to consider the early bird prices for that one. Okay. The other one is, for example, anniversary event. Yeah, that's another one as well. So there are like a lot of factors on it. So do be very selective on which event you're ranking, and like what stand. I guess the suitor that you stand for also affects on your stashing effort. Because for example, if you're a stan of Sebastian, then you can chill. Otherwise, no. I hope that makes sense. When I ranked for Isaac's collection event, I was able to top, like get all the ranking prices at, but I burned around 100 story tickets because I'm such a fucking simp. So yeah, more or less around 70 is the minimum, such that you play every day, you follow the lucky time, and you reach the prices that you want. So yeah, overall, it's doable for F2P to rank. It's doable for F2P to get the early bird, such that it is tied up to a few conditions and stashing efforts. But most importantly, try, of course, enjoy the game, enjoy the prices, glam up your avatar, and everything. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully, my video gives a better explanation for like non whales / lesser spenders. Maybe it could give a little bit of tips also for the whales. So yeah, if you're like a heavy spender, light spender, F2P, comment your thoughts or share your tips on how you rank for your event. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.